Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside my co-host, Jake from, be sure to follow us on social media at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at From Jake. Puntandpass.com, the number one destination for all things college football. Head on over to puntandpass.com. The holidays are right around the corner. Go get you some merch. I got some rope hats left. I got some golf hats and tour visors left as well. I'll ship them out to you immediately. We've had a couple of those orders coming across the past few days, so shout out to you all. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our blog, our picks. It's got everything. Puntandpass.com. Jake, fresh off a Monday Night Football victory, the Commanders just dominated the since defeated Eagles. They were undefeated headed into that game. That was fun to watch, man. I never thought I would be rooting for the Commanders, but here we are.
Dude, what is going on? Huge win Monday night. It's actually the second time in the last 3 years the staff has beaten an undefeated team kind of that late in the season. They beat Pittsburgh when they were 11-0 2 years ago. So just some similar territory that they've been in before. Coach said, don't count us out. Don't be surprised. And, man, we went in there, dominated a lot of that football game, ran the football, really nasty physical football game, came out with a win. Man, it was awesome. Awesome atmosphere.
It was awesome to watch. I mean, you guys really dominated the entire game. It was physical, great game plan to start out. Taylor Heineke, I mean, shout out to him, Collins Hill kid right here from North Atlanta area. He's balling, and
he plays his tail off, man.
Yeah, he really does. Like, what's he like in the QB meeting room? I mean, obviously filling in for Carson as Carson's injured right now, but the Commanders keep winning. Pretty cool to see.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's just a dude's dude. Just a football guy. He loves it. Eats, breathes, sleeps football. He loves it. Guys in the locker room love him. And man, he plays. I mean, the way he plays, the guys feed off of it. They love it.
Yeah, I mean, his trajectory is wild, too. I saw a tweet, I think maybe ESPN or maybe NFL tweeted it out. Obviously, he went to Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, not the biggest football powerhouse, bounced around, got cut by like 6 NFL teams. Then he was a backup in the XFL. That went under. He was living on his sister's couch. Now he's starting quarterback, and he's playing very, very good. They just knocked off the Eagles. So congrats to all you guys up in Washington. It was cool to see also. I saw the video of Coach Rivera, Ron Rivera, the head coach.
Oh, yeah.
He got emotional after the game. He wanted to give a game ball out. His mother had just recently passed away. You could just tell how important and how hard it is to win in the NFL. And then when you get a collective effort like that in a big moment on national TV, Monday Night Football, it's special for everybody. So really cool that you're a part of it right now, Jake. That's awesome. That is awesome. You know what else is awesome?
Tell me.
Prize Picks is awesome. And let me tell you why. Okay. Obviously, this episode of Punt and Pass is presented to you by Prize Picks. This is a Thursday episode of Punt and Pass. You've come to know that Prize Picks is the best presenting sponsor of the podcast. They've been doing this for so long. But a huge announcement, a massive announcement from our friends over at Prize Picks. It's that now you can win up to 25 times your money. Okay. 25 times. Now, usually we go on and say you can win 10x your money. Things have changed. You can win 25 times your money right now on Prize Picks. They have just released the 6-pick entry. If you hit all 6, you get 25 times your money. I'm no mathematician, but you put $10 down, you hit 6 picks, you win $250. That seems pretty sweet. And guess what? If you use the promo code PUNT, you can bet that $10, and then, of course, they'll match it. Or you could add $100 into your account by using the promo code PUNT, and they'll match you up to $100. That's what Prize Picks does. The World Cup starts next week. Are you kidding me? College basketball just started. The NBA is going on. College football, NFL. People, it is the best time to be on Prize Picks. So download the Prize Picks app. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code PUNT. You get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100. And now you can 25x your money, and payouts are instant. What are you waiting on, people? Promo code PUNT. Download the Prize Picks app. Follow them on social media as well at Prize Picks. All right, let's go 3 and out.
Talk to me.
First down for the past couple of weeks has been the same topic. It's all about the college football playoff rankings. And last night, the third rendition of the 2022 college football playoff rankings came out, and the top four were untouched. Really, the top five were untouched. Georgia is number one. Ohio State's number two. Michigan's number three. TCU's number four. Tennessee is number five. And right behind Tennessee is number six, LSU. That's leading us to now, with only 2 weeks left of the regular season, Jake, which is absolutely crazy, to start playing out some scenarios. So I'll throw one out at you right now. Can Ohio State and Michigan both make it in? Obviously, they are playing each other next week.
Yeah, that one is so intriguing. If Michigan pulls it out over Ohio State in a close football game where Ohio State plays well for whatever reason, turns the ball over, a penalty, yada, yada, does a one-loss Ohio State team get in over a one-loss Tennessee football team? And that's tough because I think the strength of schedule for Tennessee is better. They have had a higher ranking in the college football playoff. They've been ranked number one. Yes, it was a week, but they lost to the number one team in the country.
Okay.
To me, if that happens, I wouldn't like it because I want to see Tennessee back in it. I want to give them a chance. I don't want them to put them at 4 because I don't want to see a rematch of that game yet.
I don't think they would. If that situation came up, I guarantee you they'd squeeze them in at 3 somehow, some way.
Whatever you got to do to talk about it to get them to 3. Hey, look, just put them at 3. If we get a rematch, great. If we don't, get to see something different. But I think the strength of schedule for Tennessee is better than Ohio State, and they've won games. They've won some games kind of that early part of the season where they were really blowing teams out. The last 2 games have been just kind of okay to me. But if Ohio State beats Michigan, I don't think Michigan has a chance. And then the one to watch here is USC.
Yeah.
Okay. You start going down the list. 5 Tennessee, 6 LSU. Okay. You could just kind of skip LSU down the road. Their ranking is
what happens if LSU beats Georgia in the SEC championship game? I mean, is LSU going to get in by knocking off the number one team in the nation, presumably, if Georgia takes care of business the next 2 weeks? Now, LSU is sitting there with 2 losses, but now they're a conference champion and they just beat the number one team in the nation. What are your thoughts there? There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, no, it 100% is a possibility. However, not a likely possibility.
Okay.
But I think LSU fans would really get butthurt if they beat Georgia because I don't think they would put them in the college football playoff.
You don't think so?
I still don't think so. No, it would still be the Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and then if TCU takes care of business, it's going to be hard to leave them out of it. An undefeated conference champion. And then I just still think the intriguing one to see is, all right, say Ohio State beats Michigan. Michigan's a one-loss team.
In what fashion, though? Is this like a last-second field goal? Is this a 2-touchdown victory? The game is in Columbus. Michigan did blow out, essentially, Ohio State a year ago.
I think you could say it's like the Georgia over Tennessee victory.
Okay. Or a dominant victory, but it's 14 points on the scoreboard.
But still, I still think the scenario goes, even if it's a last-second win and Michigan barely loses, I still think it'll be interesting to see. You got Georgia, you got Ohio State, an undefeated conference champion TCU, a one-loss Tennessee, and then, okay, what about a conference champion one-loss USC?
I mean, look.
Do they get in over a one-loss non-conference champion Tennessee, which their only loss is to the number one team in the country?
We've seen 2 teams get into this college football playoff, 2 or 3. Alabama might have done it twice. You'd have to refresh my memory. Ohio State has done it where they did not even play for the Big Ten championship. Alabama obviously did not play for the SEC championship the year they beat Georgia in the national championship. What I'm getting at is that I don't know. Yeah, you're welcome. That's it. What I don't know is if Tennessee has enough brand power to the likes of Alabama and Ohio State to persuade the committee. Granted, they have the resume, they have the wins, they have the loss against the number one team in the nation, to get into the top 4 without even playing for their conference championship, given TCU is undefeated and given that the Ohio State-Michigan game is close. Now, here's what I'm saying. I think Tennessee should be in. I just don't trust the committee. People are, I talked to my buddy Tony, who's a huge Tennessee fan, and he was like getting upset. I said, Tony, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I want Tennessee to get in. I think they should get in. But what I'm afraid of is that, average college football fan or rabid college football fan or a big time Tennessee fan are mistaking the committee for some group of nuanced and highly knowledgeable college football experts. They're not, people. Like, they have proven this time and again. They're not.
Get us a camera in that room. You said it. Yes. You have mentioned it. Get us a camera in that room. We want to see it.
Are you telling me that in that closed door meeting, if this situation plays out and Tennessee is sitting there at 5 and they've got the resume and Ohio State or Michigan beat each other on a last second field goal and TCU is the undefeated Big 12 champ and Georgia has won the SEC championship, are you telling me that the committee is not sitting there debating, hey, man, should we let Tennessee in? They've got a pretty good resume. Yeah, but where do we put them? We can't put them at 4 because then that'd be a rematch with Georgia. They just played a couple weeks. That wouldn't be good for TV rate. I mean, all that's being discussed. TV ratings, ticket sales. What should we do? I want to see it. Hold these people accountable. And again, the decisions that they're making are not nuanced and knowledgeable college football discussions. These are about ticket sales. These are about TV ratings. I'm just telling you.
Isn't that sad,
I'm just telling you. Yes. So
all right. So what is the scenario that they are just begging for? Are they begging for a Georgia, Ohio State? They're just hoping TCU loses somehow.
Yes. Oh, they are begging for TCU to drop the ball. And TCU's got to play Baylor this weekend at Baylor. Another short number. They're a 2.5-point favorite on the road. Ooh. Even Vegas is not showing a lot of respect to TCU. And they, of course, answered the bell a week ago by beating Texas in Austin. Yeah. But you are 100% spot on. They are begging TCU to drop a game so they can just dismiss them. But now who comes into play? What you just said, USC starts making their case. I think USC might lose this weekend to UCLA. We'll get to that inside the 5. But this is the situation to where if you look at some of the brackets that are out now, Jake, you're like, okay, should we just go to 12? But as I always say, you go to 12, people are going to immediately start clamoring for 16. Like, there's just no end in sight. And guess what? I'll end it with this. Things always work out, right? It's going to play itself out. Ohio State plays Michigan next week. Hell, Tennessee might lose to South Carolina. I doubt that happens, but that's just a possibility. There are still games left on the schedule. So I will
add this at the end. I have been in the college football playoff, and we were also the first team out.
I think twice, right?
The next 2 years in a row. And would have loved an opportunity to have been in and to give us a chance.
So you're telling me, let's go back to 2018. Okay. Number 5, Georgia, and y'all should have been in, but you woke up the next morning and pundits on TV are already talking about, you're like, we're not going to get in. You're not going to get in. And that's the year y'all played in the Sugar Bowl against Texas. Now, the same thing happened in 2019, but I believe you had lost twice, both to LSU. No, sorry. Y'all lost to LSU in the SEC championship game. Who'd you lose to in the regular season?
We lost. That's the South Carolina loss.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So that's 2 losses. But look, I'm just telling you right now.
Freaking A, man.
There's a reason. These losses, they're so few, Jake. They keep coming up on the podcast.
I know.
But there's a reason why Georgia didn't get the invite. Maybe it was because of brand recognition. Maybe it was because of somebody stumping for him inside that committee room. I just don't know if Tennessee's there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And if you are 100% correct, if Tennessee makes it, they will not rematch with Georgia in the semifinal. It won't happen. It won't happen. I can guarantee you that. So Tennessee's got to be feeling good right now. They've got to be feeling good. They're like, oh, Ohio State, Michigan, one of them loses, then we're even looking better. They've got great wins. They just whooped up on LSU, who's sitting at 6. They beat Alabama. And I think they beat another team in the top 25. Yeah. Always fun to break down.
Yeah.
Chaos in the College Football Playoff Committee.
Talk about this all day.
Boo Corrigan came out and he said there's a big gap between Georgia and the number 2 team, Ohio State. So it looks like Georgia's going to make it in. I don't see them slipping up.
I mean, look, and look, and I hate it too, and I wouldn't vouch for this team at all. But you still have a one loss, going to be conference champion Clemson to
Well, what
talk
about, well,
about.
they play North Carolina. Drake May now is like getting Heisman
Dude,
love. His stats are
balling
crazy.
too.
Yeah.
If you look at his stats, I mean, it's like 300 plus with a 5 tutty is just a normal night for him.
And where's he
Um,
from?
I don't know.
Drake May. I'll look that up right now.
Um, but that's a great matchup because you'll have an either or of one of those two teams, UNC or Clemson. They'll be a one loss conference champion.
Drake May went to Myers Park High School right there in Charlotte. Shout out Myers Park, great area. My cousins live in Myers Park, so look at this. This kid's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah,
he is slinging it around. So watch out. I mean, who knows? Who knows? It'll all work out. Fun to talk about. Fun to talk about. If you're a Tennessee fan and you totally disagree with me, hit me up on social media at Drew Butler. All right, let's head to second down. This is a fascinating topic. I have to get your input. If you're on social media and you follow a lot of NFL or college football players or writers, you're starting to see a movement right now, a grassroots movement among the NFL players around the safety questions between playing on artificial turf, like field turf or another brand of artificial turf, and regular grass. Okay. The hashtag, I believe, is hashtag safer fields. I saw the NFL Players Association was reposting a bunch of stuff today on Instagram. Guys have been getting hurt. I saw A.J. Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles came out and said, man, we've lost so many good players to field turf. We just have to get rid of it. So the Players Association is trying to step up, and the players are all getting behind this initiative to somehow force the owners to have a conversation on eliminating artificial turf. I've got thoughts on this, Jake. I would love your thoughts. You're currently in the NFL. You are a quarterback. I'll preface it with this. One, I've never got a concussion. Two, I was a punter, so you can make fun of me for that. It wasn't the most physical position. But I'd love your thoughts. You're a QB. I mean, you're out there getting beat up on. Take me through your body the Monday after playing on artificial turf, the Monday after playing on natural grass.
Yeah. So first off, we're gonna go back to finance major class. Okay.
Are you still in school? Have we checked on this?
We're still in school.
Okay, good.
There's two rules. $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow.
Right.
Okay. And cash is king. Okay. Well, my analogy here of cash being king, grass is king.
Really?
Okay. Dude, grass is king all day long.
Really?
You talk to any of the guys, they want grass. The guys in the locker room would rather go out in 30-degree weather and practice on grass than go into the indoor, the bubble, whatever your turf is, any day of the week. Now, that being said, there is a scale, okay, a degree of some turf being better than other turfs. For sure.
There's artificial or natural. Talking turf? About turf, like artificial turf, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Turf and grass.
Turf and grass. Yes. So some turf is better than other turfs. They're a little more giving, a little more spongy, a little more easier on the ankle and the joints. Guys aren't getting caught up, rolling ankles, that kind of thing as much. But from my experience, myself personally, and the guys that I've been around, man, there is nothing better than good grass to play on. It's awesome. It's what it's all about. The smell of it, the feel,
the taste.
It's all about it, man. It doesn't get any better than that.
Okay. That's great insight. I appreciate that. My question is this. Obviously the movement is we need grass. It's safer. It's easier on our joints. It's easier on our bodies. But what is the standard? Is the standard just grass? Hey, we want grass. Well, first off, look, you said cash is king, and guess what? Grass is not king because cash will always be king. And the owners have all the cash, and the owners have built these billion-dollar infrastructures like Minnesota, like SoFi Stadium in LA, like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And guess what's inside those things? Artificial turf. And guess what's not going to happen? Natural grass will never be inside those massive indoor stadiums. My question here is this. If you do want grass everywhere, is there a standard? or is it just grass? Because I can tell you right now, grass, natural surfaces in the NFL are wildly inconsistent. And
Oh,
some of them
100%.
are actually piss poor. And I can tell you right now that they would cause
Chicago.
more injuries than field turf would or any artificial turf. I'll bring up a few. Chicago, horrible field. Everybody knows horrible. Soldier Field is absolutely brutal. Cleveland, I've played in Cleveland a lot. It gets sandy. It gets really loose. Cleveland, horrible field. Pittsburgh, played in Pittsburgh. Okay. Pittsburgh is an awful field. All right. And here's the thing about Pittsburgh's field. Next weekend, the Whitfield State Finals are on that field. And then Sunday or the next Sunday, the Steelers go up. I mean, it's an absolute mess.
And it's in the north. So just all the kind of factors just kind of come together and just it doesn't get loved on enough, you know?
FedEx Field, Washington. You can keep your mouth closed on this one. Not the best field. Okay. I'll just tell you that right now. Absolutely not the best playing surface. Arizona, where I played for 3 years. Now listen, Arizona.
New Arizona or old Arizona?
New Arizona. They've got the tray. Now let me tell you why. The tray is nice.
Hold on. TV timeout.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
It switches over to ryegrass. They have to overseed it. So earlier in the year, it's Bermuda grass, right? It's tight. But guess what? When you're in Arizona, this time of year, you have to overseed. So the playing surface literally changes, turns into ryegrass, gets a lot more slipperier, gets a lot more slick. I'm just telling you, I know these things, okay? I'm not an agronomist. That might shock you.
Yeah.
Tennessee, the Volunteers. What happened in 2000? Was it 18? Was it 14 when Nick Chubb went down, slipped, fell? That was a natural grass surface.
Man, right? Okay.
So what I'm saying is
you're making a very compelling argument too.
Well, the argument is, I guess, what is the ask, right? If you're going to want natural grass, then is there a standard?
There has to. I mean,
guess what? There can't be.
But there can't because there's different grasses to grow in different climates and the way it is. And some grasses have to be kept longer than other grasses. Some grasses can be cut short, yada, yada, sunlight, the whole deal, weather, water, all that nine. Like take buffalo, for example. I mean,
I got hurt in Buffalo. I tore my left calf in Buffalo, non-contact injury. Obviously, it wasn't the field's fault, but continue going. I mean, it was an artificial turf field.
It's going to be tough for them to have really good grass playing conditions that late in the season. It's just It's just going to be brutal. Up there in Buffalo, it's kind of a low area, so it's really muddy. It's got that slick mud. It's kind of wet anyway, so I just don't think that field would just drain well, honestly.
No, God, no.
It can't. It went, and the snow just sitting on it. And
do you see what the forecast is this weekend in Buffalo? They're supposed to get like 30 inches of snow.
It's another snow bowl.
Look,
there's bad in both, and there's good in both. And for us as players to go and pitch something, like there has to be. Like our argument here and our ask has to be solid, and there can't be any holes in it. Because right now it's just a bunch of talking. Yeah. There's a little bit of data. Yeah, there's a little bit of data to kind of go along with it. There's some data for here. There's some data for there. So we have to see it in totality in a very good long study to see. But like you said, the playing surfaces on turf, there's different turfs.
Yes.
Artificial turfs, and there's a different playing surface for grasses as well. So
I could make the argument that if you wanted to set a standard, make it one artificial turf that's allowed. I think that, right? Like, I think you would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because it's not the artificial turf of the olden days where it's literally a carpet with concrete on the bottom. This is real technology, people, and it has a certain amount of give, and it does allow these players to play at a high level. Now, if you want to tell me that artificial turf causes more concussions, then show me the data, because I just don't think that's true. If you want to tell me that artificial turf causes more ligament injuries, show me the data, because I don't think that's true. My rookie season in Pittsburgh, or it might have been my second season, Sean Spence, who was a rookie with me, badass linebacker out of Miami. He's making a play on the sideline. He tries to stop and pivot. The grass underneath him, natural grass, gave out, Jake, and he goes sliding, and it sounded like a damn tree broke.
Oof.
and it was his leg. He's screaming out loud. It snapped in half. He was out for the season. That was on natural grass. So what I'm saying is this: there is no perfect solution whatsoever. I don't really understand why the NFLPA or why players are going down this road like it's some lock stock answer. Hey, we need all natural grass. First of all, it's literally impossible because it's not going to happen in indoor stadiums.
It isn't. Yeah.
And you know what I think they should do? I talked to a former player who's been on this podcast in the past, and he said, like, dude, just ask for more money, right? Like, instead of saying we need to play on this exact type of surface, just go to the owners and say, hey, this is an inherent risk that we're taking. We want to see our salaries up, right? We want to see the cap go up. I think that's an argument that you can make, but
yeah, I think that might be a better way to go about it than that. Going back to what you said about Arizona and the rollout.
And Vegas has that now too.
Vegas has it. I loved it. I
haven't played in Vegas. Have you played in Vegas yet?
Yes.
Did you like that one?
Yeah. Worked out on it. But it's a like a faster grass. It's thin. But and also going back to the turfs, last thing I say on the turfs, there's different turfs. Like the Bends is kind of a shorter. It's harder.
It's really tight.
Yeah. It's more slippery, but you play faster on it.
Like Georgia, Sanford Stadium, great field.
Oh,
Sanford's a phenomenal field. Yes.
Yeah.
It's at like Bermuda, super tight, compact. Yeah, you're exactly right.
But the Bends is for they want it to play fast because they want the offense to score more points. There's something I heard a whole formula about it. But even then, like they're manipulating the turf to get the result that they want out of it. So look, there's a ton of stuff going into it from the owners, from the NFL's perspective on what playing surfaces we're playing on. And then a lot of it's out of their control. Last thing I'll say on this, back to Chicago, like the owner and the Chicago Bears don't have any control over it because the city owns that field. It's the city. Right. So it's the city grounds crew. I mean, it's up to them because they don't have the rights to own it. And I think similar thing here at FedEx as well. So
yeah, you're exactly right. One of the only stadiums I hadn't played in.
There's nothing they can do about it.
I didn't get to play in Arrowhead and I didn't get to play in Lambeau. And I've heard Lambeau is like the best field ever because they've got the sub air underneath. They've got the heating system underneath. They're so well prepared for that cold weather that they're able to manicure it. Obviously, they're able to take care of that surface really well. Last thing I'll say on this, and this might be be a little inside baseball, but in 2026, the World Cup is coming to America, right? And guess what's going to have to happen? Natural grass is the only surface that FIFA competitions can take place on. So MetLife, SoFi, Atlanta, field turf will be ripped out of those stadiums. Natural grass will be put in. And then guess what happens as soon as the World Cup is done? Field turf is getting laid right back down. But that's just international soccer stars. And that's what they demand. That's what FIFA has set as a standard. And that's not going to happen in the NFL. So
interesting.
That's inside baseball. I'm telling you right now, that's a fact, Jack. So fascinating conversation. It really is. There's no perfect answer.
Yeah,
and
because
turf does not cause more concussions. Like that's just not a fact. Or more injury.
I don't see a whole lot coming from happening with this anytime soon because of the rights on the stadiums and who owns it and how they own it and all that stuff is going to play a factor in it. And I don't see stuff happening anytime soon on it.
All right, good discussion. Thank you for your insight. Did I persuade you at all? Maybe, maybe not. I liked how you came out guns blazing though.
Had to.
Ready. I am always ready. All right, let's go to third down. And this one is unfortunately a tragic news. We have to touch on it because we are a college football podcast. It's a tragedy that's rocked the world. It's rocked certainly the ACC, the entire nation. And that's what happened at Virginia earlier this week in Charlottesville. 3 football players were shot dead, and it is just so sad. I know Georgia has a lot of people up there, Carla Williams being one of them, the athletic director. Virginia has canceled their game against Coastal Carolina this weekend, and man, the details are gut-wrenching. Junior receiver Lavelle Davis of Dorchester, South Carolina, junior defensive end Deshaun Perry of Miami, and one more passed away. I don't see his name right here. I want to get that right. That's unfortunate that I just talked about that. Cavaliers receiver Devin Chandler. It's just tough, Jake. Man, I've got 2 daughters and a third on the way any moment now. and, you reach this level of high profile college football and, the details of who the shooter was, a former walk-on. It's just, I don't really know what to say except rest in peace to those young men and praying for their families and everybody at Virginia for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just a terrible, terrible thing. Just a bad situation, and I hate it, man. There's young men who had the rest of their life ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to contribute a lot to society, to their families, to what's going on. And man, you hate it. Let's just lift them up and lift their families up in prayer, and just kind of be praying for peace. And that's all we really can do here. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
tough.
Absolutely. Prayers to Coach Elliott, Carla Williams, and everybody at UVA. Man, hopefully they bounce back in a big way and are able to honor those three young men in a way that's certainly worthy.
Yep,
All right.
sure.
We are going to get to inside the five and break down the top 5 college football games of the weekend. The slate is a little light this week. It's kind of like a cupcake weekend in the SEC. Obviously, next week is rivalry week. It's Thanksgiving week. I can't believe this is the second to last regular season weekend
It's
of
crazy.
the college football season. But before we get to that, obviously, I told you when the show started that Prize Picks now offers a 6-pick, which can 25 extra money. So let's dive right into the hashtag DBs freebie. And guess what? I'm giving you a 6-pack, and we're going to go 25x, and that will do it. Your Thanksgiving will be extremely fruitful. There's no question. I'll run through it pretty quickly. Hendon Hooker is taking on South Carolina. Tennessee needs to continue putting up points in a big, big way. Show the College Football Playoff Committee that they are worthy of being one of the Final Four teams. He will have more than 275.5 passing yards. South Carolina ain't that good. Over 275.5 passing yards for Hendon Hooker. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback for UCLA, who is electric and who absolutely lit up USC a year ago, is projected to have 40.5 rushing yards on the ground. I'll go over that. I think this could be a high-scoring game. The total's like 75 points, Jake. DTR is going to have to do it through the air and on his feet. I'll go over 40.5 rushing yards for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Caleb Williams is the other quarterback in that game. He's projected to have 3 touchdown passes. I'm going under 3 touchdown passes. I think UCLA at home in the Rose Bowl, granted, that's not the scariest place to play. They're fired up. They're catching 1.5, 2.5 points right now. I think they know they've got to limit Caleb Williams through the air. So I'll go under 3 touchdowns for Caleb Williams. Tavion Thomas is Utah's running back. This game is at 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. It is a late night kick for a Pac-12 game that used to have a lot of implications. Oregon slipping up last week didn't help. Utah takes on Oregon. Tavion Thomas had 180 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground last week. He's projected to have 0.5 rushing touchdowns. He'll get in the end zone once. I'll go over a half a rushing touchdown for Tavion Thomas. And then to wrap it up, Jalen Hyatt, the electric wide receiver at Tennessee, he's projected to have 5.5 receptions. We'll go over. Over 5.5 receptions.
Yeah.
And then Hooker, over 275.5 yards. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, over 40.5 rushing yards. Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, under 3 touchdowns. Tavion Thomas, Utah running back, over a half a touchdown. And Jalen Hyatt, Tennessee wide receiver, over 5.5 receptions. That's a 6-pack, 25x, your entry. Hashtag DB's freebie. Shout out Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. You get a 100% deposit match up to your first $100.
Dude, I like it. That's a pretty high profile slate too. I mean, good games, good matchups. It's good stuff, man.
I'm getting the Jake Fromm stamp of approval. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good. All right, let's go inside the 5. We haven't talked much about Georgia, so let's start with Georgia.
Let's do it.
Number 1, Georgia, heading up north to take on Kentucky in Lexington. This is your 3:30 p.m. SEC on CBS game. Georgia is a 22.5 point favorite. Jake, I think I said this to you on Monday's pod, but it's always a tradition of mine to just love watching Georgia, biased aside, crush Kentucky, thus crush their dreams of making it to an SEC championship game, thus crush their dreams of thinking they're a legitimate football program. It's usually the weekend where Kentucky turns the page and it becomes basketball season.
I was waiting for you to say it.
But that has already happened. Kentucky won last night. I think they beat Michigan State or maybe lost to Michigan State, and basketball is a good game.
Yeah.
But Will Levis, man, and Chris Rodriguez, this team had a lot of hope heading into the season, and Coach Stoops just taking L's big time up north.
Yeah, like you said, big hopes at the beginning of the season and have just not met expectations. It's been really rough for those guys, and I don't see it getting any better. I see the Dogs going up there and rolling and taking care of business. Back-to-back road games for the Dogs. I think they'll just be even more poised going into this one, familiar territory for the guys, and take care of business. And like you said, it's basketball time in Kentucky.
Yeah, it is basketball time in Kentucky. Georgia's averaging 40.6 points per game, only allowing 11.6, 510 total yards of offense per
I
game.
think it's completely underrated and doesn't get said enough in the media of the points that the Dogs are putting up. I mean, we're right there at the top in the country as far as points scored, and obviously the spread. And while we've had so much success throughout the year, but
yeah,
we're right there with the best of them. Like, bring it, let's go.
Oh, dude, no question about it. Kentucky's 6-4, 3-4 in the SEC. Just lost to Vanderbilt last week at
Yeah,
home.
not good.
Now, obviously, this is a great bounce back spot for Kentucky. They will be competitive to a point. Georgia's going to win the game. 22.5 is a lot, though, Jake.
Dude, really?
I'll lay the 22.5 with Georgia. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
That's
They're
what I'm
gonna take
talking
care of
about.
business in a
Yes, sir.
big way. There's no question about it. The preparedness of this team going on the road against Mississippi State, allowing that punt return for a touchdown, Stetson throwing 2 interceptions and still winning by 26 points. I mean, like, that just doesn't happen. And I think it's the way that Kirby coaches this team. It's the way that the entire coaching staff has really gotten this team to respond in certain situations that shows that they're elite. There's no question about it.
I'm so glad you brought that up. You talked about turning the ball over. I saw a stat.
Oh, give me a stat.
And it's all right. So to start the season off, UGA was +6 in the turnover margin.
Okay.
At some point in the middle of the season to now, they are -8.
I think it's probably the Kent State game.
In the turnover
was. Yeah.
Now, still obviously still winning, still having success. Now, this is either going to be they're going to fix this and they are going to be unbeatable and unstoppable, or it's going to be the demise and it's going to be something that they can't overcome, even though they're better player-wise, matchup-wise, scheme-wise, the whole nine. It is so hard to overcome turnovers in a football game because you're just giving the other team one, momentum, but two, obviously points when you give them the ball. So
I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up because a game that you were just a part of, Philadelphia turned the ball over 4 times. You can't overcome that. You can't overcome that. And the Commanders scored off those turnovers. That's killer at any level of football. I don't care if it's 100%. High school, Pee-wee, college, or NFL. You just made the best point. There will come a point, and it could be in the SEC championship game, and it could be in the first round of the college football playoff, to where if Georgia's lousy with the football, they could lose the game. Simple as that. What is the messaging from the coaching staff? Because you can't put too much pressure on the guys to where you're thinking about it, and then it's almost like a subconscious, oh, my God, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball. It's more so just like being, I don't know, like tell me, you're a QB. I'm just a stupid punter.
Yeah, so it's that kind of that mental warfare of, do you say don't turn the ball over and keep that, like, whenever you mentally say don't do something, don't do something, don't do something. What do you end up doing? You end up doing that thing, right?
Like don't hit it left, and then you snap hook a drive left on the golf course. Happens every time. And so it's just, hey, you're just reaffirming good coaching points and techniques. Instead of saying don't turn the ball over, take care of the football, completions, ball security, 2 hands in traffic, double in trouble, the whole 9 for the running backs. And just I don't know, just be smart with the football, be smart with the football, take care of the ball. You just kind of have to play that mental warfare too with the guys and with the kind of
I hate to use this word, but with the vibe on
Yeah,
offense.
I agree 100%,
So
dude.
you got to play that mental kind of game with it, I think.
You can say it. You guys are fragile on the offensive side of the ball. There's no doubt about it. I thought the other way you could really combat that is for the defensive players to make it a point. Let's get takeaways, right? Let's go get the
Oh
ball.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's a good way to
yeah.
go about it as well. But Georgia, with their kind of four-headed monster now at running back, it's really great to see Kenny,
By
Kendall,
committee.
Branson, Dejan, so many different ways they can attack the run game. They should have a fun weekend up in Lexington. Come on home.
Yep.
You got Tech next week. Another undefeated season, regular season on the brink for Stetson Bennett. That would be phenomenal.
Huge.
Let's head out west to the Pac-12. Or you know what? We'll start with the other SEC game first. Number 5 Tennessee going to Columbia to take on South Carolina. This game's at 7 p.m. on ESPN. Tennessee is a 21.5-point favorite. I just told you, I think Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt have a big night. Josh Heupel and company know that they have to continue making statements. And one could be just running it up on South Carolina, whoop up on Vandy, and then sit at home SEC championship weekend and see what happens. Any chance South Carolina can keep this one close?
I would just say don't be surprised if it's a fight early, but then also don't be surprised when you check the scores late on Saturday and it looks like a 65, 66 to 20 something, where Tennessee's playing a 4-quarter game, running it up kind of in a way, but not really to make it look worse than it really was. I think South Carolina will take it a little personal. I think they'll want to ruin Tennessee's season. I think they'll come out. I think they'll fight. They're going to throw a few punches, but don't expect them to win the fight. Is what I'm saying. And I think Tennessee will take care of business.
Okay, yeah, I have to agree with you there as well. Carolina be fired up. Obviously, it's the start of Thanksgiving break. I would imagine students hang around this weekend for a big matchup inside Willie B. 21.5 is a lot, but it's not enough. So I'll lay I'll lay the 21.5 with Tennessee. I just think, again, there's too much on the line for the Vols. They have to win big.
They have to.
And put it into the hands of the committee. So South Carolina, hold on to your butts because the Vols are coming in town. We'll see what happens. Number 7, Southern Cal, heading across town to take on the 16th ranked UCLA Bruins. This game's at 8 p.m. on Fox. Southern Cal is a 2.5-point favorite. UCLA beat these guys a year ago badly, but that was a bad SC team. I just talked about DTR, Charbonnet, the running back at UCLA. Chip Kelly versus Lincoln Riley is a fascinating coaching matchup.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams against Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a really good QB matchup. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, UCLA lost last week. They're going to want to come back and play well, but then also on the other side, it's USC's time to shine. If they want a chance of being talked about in the Final Four, well, they have to win this football game and take care of business. So this one's tough because I see it from both sides. I think it'd be a great matchup, coach to coach wise. Like you mentioned, but I think this is a Caleb Williams time to shine. I think USC is going to take it.
All right. See, USC's best win this season was against an unranked Oregon State team, and they only beat the Beavers 17-14. This game lost a little juice. UCLA dropped the game to Arizona a week ago. They were a double-digit favorite. I like the home dog here. Give me the points with UCLA. Give me Chip Kelly over Lincoln Riley. Got to go over the total. The total's 75, people. With a total that high, you got to take the over. I think Zachary Charbonnet is the X factor in this game. That's UCLA's running back. So I will take the Bruins plus 2.5. Number 14, Ole Miss, heading to Arkansas to take on the fighting Sam Pittmans. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, SEC Network. Ole Miss laying 2.5 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends a lot on KJ Jefferson, whether or not he's playing. But I think it's just going to be tough to overcome kind of the monster that Ole Miss has right now with Jackson Dart, and they're kind of running back by committee as well. They should have won that game last week against Alabama. I think so. Had every opportunity to. I just hope it doesn't kind of give them a little fog going into this week, but there's no reason to me why Ole Miss should take care of business.
All right, I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to take the home dog, Arkansas,
Mm,
plus 2.5. You just talked me into it by saying the battle that they had against Alabama a week
yeah.
ago. Ole Miss could have a little hangover effect, probably thinks they should have won. The attitude around the facility might be a little bit down, hitting the road. I can tell you where the attitude will not be down. Arkansas. They need a big win. They'll do it for their coach. Give me the 2.5 points with the Razorbacks. Let's wrap this thing up. Number 10, Utah at number 12, Oregon. Again, a game that was going to have so much promise. Oregon loses to Washington last week. Oregon's a 3-point favorite at home. This game kicks off at 10:30 p.m. on Saturday night, ESPN. Oregon, once again at home against a ranked opponent. Dan Lanning and Bo Nix, I know they're way out there in the Pacific Northwest, but they've put together a hell of a first season.
Yeah, no, they definitely have. A lot of respect to them and what they've done, able to do after that just debacle of a first game to start the season off. The way they've fought, and they were right there the whole game last weekend. My opinion, again, should have won that football game. I like them in this one to respond to having it at home, which helps. And expect Bo Nix to keep going off and try to get his name in there to go to New York and possibly be a name for the Heisman.
Man, good for him. That would be awesome. Utah's taken both of their losses on the road this season at Florida, at UCLA. I think Oregon's rushing defense can step up and really limit Tavion Thomas, excuse me. They're going to have to. I do think Thomas will get into the end zone once on my hashtag DB's freebie, but I like a bounce back game here for Bo Nix at home. Put some numbers up. I'll lay the 3 with Oregon for all the reasons you said.
Does Bo have a touchdown that's a non-passing touchdown? Does he have a rushing touchdown or a receiving touchdown?
Oh,
just a little me and you kind of side bet,
probably not. I think he's just gonna air it out.
Air it out.
Okay. So a little gentleman shake on that one.
Gentleman shake, I like it.
You a big Thanksgiving guy? You like Thanksgiving?
A huge Thanksgiving guy, man. Who doesn't like Thanksgiving?
I was watching the Today Show this morning. It's just usually on the house. Like I take Bridget to school at 7:30 and then, come home, have a cup of coffee before the emails start firing off. And I'm listening. It's like ways to save money this Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh, I'll turn around. Let's see what they're talking about. Tip number 1, skip the turkey. I said, are you kidding? I said, that's the dumbest. It's so stupid. It's so stupid that they would even put that on national television.
Yeah.
Skip the turkey.
I tell you, I
kiss my ass. How about that?
I have to admit my sin here.
Don't tell me that you don't like turkey.
No, love turkey. Okay, love turkey. It is a Thanksgiving deal. Have to have it in the lineup 100%. Yes. Okay. But when me and my wife were in Buffalo, and we were playing that week. We weren't playing on Thanksgiving. We were playing that week. A lot to do. Couldn't really do it. So she stayed at home that day and made all the fixins. Well, it's the man's deal to cook the meat and make the turkey. Well, I didn't have time because of practice to really do the turkey the way I wanted to. So we went and just got some ham, threw it in the cast iron, fried it up a little bit. Perfect. And that was spectacular. But you talk about saving money, dude, the ham was super cheap. It was like it was like $10 for like 4 pounds worth of ham. So
I had to do a Publix run. Yeah, you're right. I mean, throw the ham in the cast iron, dude. Game on. I have full respect for that. Full respect for that. And yes, it's a lot different when you are working literally, and then you have to wake up Friday morning. You can't just go all out on Thursday and feel like shit on Friday. But I was at Publix the other night and they had Publix brand turkeys. There was a 32-pound frozen turkey at Publix, 49 cents a pound. It was like $17. This thing was as big as the desk that I'm working on right now. It was gigantic. I don't even know. I mean, you and I have got those big ass rec techs. I don't even know if it could fit on there. It was so big. I was like, what is going on?
That's something to think about for sure.
It's crazy. It was crazy, but we'll get into some Thanksgiving talk next
week. We'll have a lineup. We'll have a lineup. It'd have to be a first, second, or third down. We got to talk about our lineup. For sure. What's in and what's out.
I like it. Who's in, who's out Thanksgiving lineup.
Got to.
Love it. Absolutely. All right, man. Well, this has been fun. Who you guys play this weekend? Short week. Who you guys play?
The Texans.
Texans.
And
go
Houston.
take care of business.
Yes, sir.
Go take care of business. Follow him at From Jake. Follow me at Drew Butler. We are at Punt and Pass on Twitter and Instagram, puntandpass.com. And you got to get over to Prize Picks, people. PrizePicks.com. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. You get a 100% deposit match on your first $100. And now with a 6-pack entry like I just gave you in the hashtag DB's freebie, you can 25x your money. So many sports to choose from. Cross-sport entries. Prize Picks is the best daily fantasy game out there. Shout out to Prize Picks, and we will talk to you on Monday. See you.
Yep.